the flame beneath the sand. The flying vessel descended with a whisper of wind and canvas, casting a long, slow-moving shadow across the golden dunes. Below, a line of armed guards stood frozen on the walls of a foreign city, weapons held tight but not raised. None had ever seen such a thing in their lives. A ship in the sky? A creature of wood and wings? Suspicion filled the air, but so did wonder. In the heart of the city, surrounded by sandstone towers and domed rooftops, the vessel settled into the palace courtyard. Its wings folded back with a soft creak, like a bird at rest. Ropes fell. Dust rose. Still, not a single arrow flew. From the highest balcony of the palace stepped a man draped in burgundy silk and gold-trimmed robes. His beard was cut close, and his rings caught the desert sun as he studied the newcomers. "You bear the name of House Jovan," Lord Rafik said, his voice smooth and sharp like a blade of glass. "I have heard it, but never met its blood." Lord Jovan stood at the base of the vessel with his arms folded. His cloak snapped in the wind. "I come not to provoke, but to plead. We need your help, Lord Rafik. We need your fire." The courtyard held its breath. Rafik tilted his head, stepping forward to look down from the balcony. "Greek fire," he said softly. "The ancient flame sealed by my ancestors. A thing so feared even water dares not touch it." He turned away and began to pace. "Why would I unearth such a curse for you?" Jovan's jaw tightened. "Because 10,000 enemies march on our lands. Our soldiers won't hold. Our children will fall. That flame may be the only hope left." Lady Marlene stepped forward quietly, her hands folded at her waist. The wind tugged gently at her veil. "There are children in our castle, Lord Rafik," she said softly. "Families. Innocents. I care for them like my own. I would not ask this unless there was no other way." Something shifted in the air. Rafik's steps slowed. He turned back to the balcony, his voice lower now. "Your voice carries something his never could." Below, Jovan said nothing. A long pause followed. Then, with a slow breath, Rafik raised his hand and declared, "You may enter the vault, but only on one condition." He paused. "I want a copy of your flying vessel's blueprint, and our cities shall become trade partners henceforth. I will assist you however I can, but the flame must be handled wisely." Lady Marlene bowed her head. "We accept," and just like that, the guards lowered their weapons. The deal was made. The pact sealed. Far below the palace, hidden beneath stone and sand, stood 2 enormous doors chained in iron. Ancient glyphs were carved deep into the rock, dash warnings from a time when the world still feared the fire of men. Soon they would open. The Vault of Flame. At the edge of the city's foundation, behind a long-forgotten corridor guarded by ancient stone beasts, stood the vault. It had not been opened in over a century. Now, as the sun dipped low and shadows grew long, Lord Rafik led the small group through the winding steps beneath his palace, his footsteps echoing in the dark. He carried a ring of iron keys. Everyone was carved with a glyph older than the kingdom itself. Lady Marlene walked beside him, holding a lantern. Lord Jovan followed silently, his hand resting near his sword, though it gave him no comfort here. They reached the gates. 2 massive sandstone doors fused with tar, sealed by rusted chains, stood like giants in the dark. Carved across them in raised lettering were the words, "The fire that drinks water." 4 guards took position. 2 held torches. 2 stood ready with sand buckets just in case. Lord Rafik approached the seal. "This vault was built by my grandfather's grandfather," he said softly. "The flame inside has never touched the open air. Let us pray it still sleeps." One by one, the keys turned. The chains fell. A gust of hot air rushed from the narrow crack between the doors, and with it, the faintest scent of sulfur and smoke. Lady Marlene tightened her grip on the lantern. They pushed the doors open. Inside, the vault was carved like a temple. Walls lined with sand-filled jars, reinforced crates, and metal drums sealed with wax and bone. In the center stood a raised pedestal, and on it a single glass flask, The liquid inside shimmered dark green and gold, moving slowly as if alive. It glowed, faintly, dangerously. Lord Rafik stepped forward and bowed his head. The original flame. Preserved. Unforgiving. He looked back at Marlene Joven. You will take 5 vials? No more. Not unless I say. Lady Marlene gave a respectful nod. Joven stared at the flask, and for a brief moment even he looked afraid.